What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a beautiful morning of checking these damn buttons. It is New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I don't know when I'm gonna post this. I just know it's gonna be close to New Year's. Ladies and gents, I wasn't supposed to post today. I was gonna post tomorrow, but then I realized it's New Year's Eve, baby. This is it. This is the last day. So I had to post. How could I not? So I wanted to do something special. We did a little back-to-back. We had to do something. So I was researching stories. I was thinking about it. I was talking to folks, and I was thinking about 2020. And when 2020 comes to mind, there's a lot of shit that comes to mind. Literally, there is a lot of shit that comes to mind. And of course, believe it or not, there were some good times. We had some good times in 2020. It's hard to think of any because it was kind of like few and in between. I feel like there's a silver lining here in this year of 2020 that kind of brought some people, inner self, like people doing a lot of introspectiveness, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like reflecting on our lives. I know it did for me. It literally gave me a lot of time to self-reflect and actually make this channel, actually make this show that much better. Weird how that kind of like worked for a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? But as far as actually, things happening in the gaming world and FGC and all that stuff, there was a lot of stuff. And by stuff, I mean there was a lot of cancels, there was a lot of bans, there was a lot of things that happened that completely changed the face of the FGC. Okay, with that being said, ladies and gents, for the last time in 2020, I'm about to tear up, y'all. For the last time in 2020, we got them hot clips, we got them hot topics, ladies and gents. Let's go!
Focus attacks and one frame linking, backdash invincible, double tap and plinking. Let's travel to tournaments and win. Those are a few of my favorite things. When the chip kills, when Alina heals, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Goodbye, 2020. Happy New Year's, everybody!
All right, and now into these top 10 canceled, banned buttons of 2020 that need to be checked. All right, so as you know, 2020 started out, man, like any other year, but man, well into it. I want to say as soon as February, all started to go to hell. On top of that, even though there were no tournaments, even though like everybody was playing online and stuff like that, we had, it seemed like, more bans, more cancels than ever, and it just blew our minds. Now it set us on this new path to where when tournaments do come back, there's so many changes. Like the FGC has basically forever changed the way we look at a lot of things. So on that note, we're gonna go through the top 10 cancels or bans. Now, because I'm naming these, some are players and whatnot, I'm not putting them all on the same playing field. I'm not saying every offense is equal, because some are definitely worse than others, and some punishments are definitely worse than others as well. I'm just saying these are the ones that stood out, and these are the ones that had a big impact this year. So we're gonna kick it off right here, not only starting at number 10, but also in connection with number 9. This was one of the weirdest bans that we have seen because it was like a reversal. All right, so this one involves LTG and Cero Blast. Y'all remember when this took place earlier this year? Apparently they were on stream. Cero Blast beat him. LTG then made some homophobic slur remarks towards Cero Blast. From there, Cero actually put this out into the public. People showed the clips, and pretty soon after, the tournament world, I believe even Capcom, made a statement basically banning LTG from this year until basically further notice. Then in the weirdest damn twist of all, Cero Blast was also banned. And it's almost like she went from victim to perpetrator just like that. Well, apparently people were showing some older tweets that she had posted basically saying the N-word, and then a lot of people were like, yo, well, if we're banning for this, why are we not banning for this? It should be equal across the board. I just thought it was so damn crazy because it all just kind of turned around like that, and then both of them were banned. Now, it doesn't look like these were long-term bans, and they'll probably end either next year or probably the year after, but but it was something that definitely shook up the FGC when it happened. All right, and now for number 8, F-Champ. Y'all remember when this happened? This one caught a lot of people by surprise too, especially F-Champ, because he went on social media, he made an insensitive, a lot of people thought racial joke because he said something about, remember, it was the whole Black Lives Matter movement going on at the time that was heavily, I mean, that was like the main thing in the media at the time. He made this horrible ass joke saying watermelon lives matter. A lot of people took that like racist as shit. You know, F-Champ after went on to defend himself saying, you know, some of his black friends were like, he's like our family, he's not racist.
I have black best friends, so I live in a black household. I understand, you know, what I did was I hurt the movement towards Black Lives Matter. You know, if because you guys could correlate that or whatsoever to my tweet, but I wasn't trying to do that. You know, sure, my intentions wasn't there. I didn't have any motives, but the execution of my joke or my tweet was just so terrible. It was so insensitive in my end. So
FGC was very vocal and issued a ban as well, saying he was no longer welcome to certain tournaments. And that was one of those things, you know, that was like people were debating, like, you know, how can you get banned for doing something when you're not even at a tournament or when you're doing it from your house? If it's a joke or if it's on Twitter. That started this whole other debate, you know, early this year. Then next up, number 7, which comes to mind off of this, which probably was a little bigger, was Chris G. We actually had the chance to talk to Chris G about this. He didn't have to do the interview, so I want to get big up. Chris G, if you haven't even watched this, I want to thank you for that interview, man. We got some good insight because you got this gentleman that made these racially insensitive jokes, or I wouldn't even call them jokes, just statements, right, about black gamer girls. 3 years ago, right? Was it 3 or 4 years ago? Something like that. People kept bringing it back, and then his sponsor released him, and they were like, yo, we are no longer working with you. We're not going to put up with this. It was this big thing because they offered him like $10,000 hush money. He turned it down. He's, well, you know, I just want to tell the truth, and I feel like this is not fair. We got to talk about it on Button Check when he came with the interview. There was a lot of good points that he made. Other people thought it was enough. Other people thought like, no, it wasn't enough. He deserved everything he got.
I was not a good person, you know, like, I 100% agree. I was not a good person. I said and did things because I felt like as long as I won, as long as I stayed true to me, like whatever that truth was at the time, like that's it. Like I can make my money, I could hustle, I could do my thing. And, you know, when push comes to shove, I'll figure it out. Especially when random people bring it up, you know. And I remember asking Phil and stuff and my other managers, and I'm like, yo, like, so is everything good? Like, is she okay with it and stuff like that? And it's like, oh yeah, no, you're fine. Like, this is gonna blow over. We're sticking with you, your family. You know, we'll go to a bar, get some drinks and stuff like that. Like, these are my bosses.
So that was huge, right? Like, let alone if you look at the comment section in that video, so many people are going at each other because a lot of people do have good points. You know, like at the end of the day, from what I saw after talking with Chris and stuff like that, I felt like, you know, of course he did a lot of things wrong, but since then he's tried to do things right. Talking with him in the interview, it looks like he, you know, admitting it, taking the steps to go forward, and basically building his whole livelihood after that because basically, I mean, he lost it all. But once again, that's just my opinion, so let me know if you agree or disagree. That's what the hell we do on Button Check, baby. But with that being said, I think we could all agree that that was a huge debate. That was a huge topic and suspension that happened in 2020. And next up, number 6, Zero, right? Now, a lot of you might debate like, well, this is not FGC, but this was one of the biggest cancellations or bans in the gaming community, whether you want to, you know, agree with FGC term or not. Zero was the, if not the biggest Smash player at the time, definitely content creator. The dude has almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I think right now it's still at 986,000. It didn't look like it went anywhere. His circumstances came out to where he was involved with an underage girl. Apparently from his testimony, originally he said he didn't know that she was like underage and they kind of flirted or something like that, but I think they reiterated and he said he did know. It was some sloppy stuff. He tried to come clean at the very end, but then he also said he's dipping from the community. It was almost hard at that time to keep up with stories because there were so many allegations allegations. There were so many like people being sued and all this other stuff, banned and like canceled, and it seemed like it was all happening within a couple of weeks. And when the Zero thing happened, I mean, it was just crazy. So from what I could see, like me just taking a guess, I would guess that he does come back sometime later in 2021. I would assume that he would be rebranded, coming back with a different perspective and outlook as a content creator in the gaming community. I'm only guessing right now, but because I don't know, just looking at his channel and seeing how big it is, I wouldn't be surprised if he made a comeback in 2021. And next up, number 5, Punk the Gawd. Now, a lot of you might be like, what? Punk was canceled? Punk was banned? Like, what are you talking about? If you guys remember, because it was kind of, I mean, it happened and a lot of people paid attention, but the fact that there was a ruling on it was kind of under the radar, in a way, I should say, because like I said, if you're watching this channel, you probably know. But anyway, do you guys remember this year when there was an online tournament, right? Punk went up, I believe like it was against Myers. He was pissed at the lag. He was calling like Myers a bitch. He was like, if you were a man of honor, something like that, you would have dipped out and not played the tournament knowing you had a shitty connection. I believe he talked shit to Alex Valle as well. There was a lot of shit talk after that. Shortly after that, I should say, Capcom issued a statement saying we will not tolerate any of this shit talk. I'm paraphrasing, of course. But anyway, we won't tolerate this and we're not going to put up with any threats. Basically saying if Punk continues to, we're trying to be in the Capcom Pro Tour, he's going to receive some type of penalty where he'll start like in the losers bracket. So with that note, I mean, it wasn't the biggest, it wasn't like a huge ban or a perma ban or anything like that. A lot of people did talk shit towards Punk. Some people had his back, but I think we could all agree, if you've been keeping up with anything, that's water under the bridge now. Punk has done a lot of things since then. The whole thing where he was crying on, E-League and people were like, that's what's up, we love your passion. Then shortly after that, he almost threw hands with 801 Strider. That was a whole other thing. But it looks like all that whole, him being in lowers, it seems like it's so far long ago that it really doesn't matter. But the reason why it stands out is because it was another thing where people were just talking about how soft the FGC might be now, because you go and you call somebody a bitch or you're talking that shit online, and once again, you receive some type of penalty for speaking your mind. And number 4, Mike Z. This one was huge for a few different reasons. You got the creator or the game, designer of SKULLGIRLS, right? Just when SKULLGIRLS was getting some shine more than ever, Mike Z happens, right? And he comes out, at first he makes a terrible joke.
Still.
Would it be fair to say that you can't breathe?
Yeah.
Basically, it was a I can't breathe joke. Terrible timing. A lot of people wanted him canceled for that, but it seemed like he kind of flew under the radar a little bit because a lot of people were speaking up for his character. But then he had a lot of his own employees speaking up against sexual allegations, and they were like protesting against him. And when that came out, shit hit the roof, and all the people were defending him in the beginning were like, no, you gotta go. And just like that, boom, he was gone. Like the SKULLGIRLS community took a huge hit. Not to say that people aren't still playing the game or anything like that, but it was so impactful, especially this year, because they had this platform in 1 second that their game was just going to be elevated because it was going to be featured at EVO, right? This huge thing, finally get that shine, something they've been waiting for the longest time, and all of a sudden this happens and it's gone. Now, number 3 and 2, I'm just going to put up at the same time because they're not really individuals per se, but they're like games or corporations. I'm just gonna put them up. Nintendo and Cyberpunk. Holler if you hear me. Now, right now, you're probably talking, well, they weren't canceled or anything like that. No, they weren't. But they sure as hell seem like they were. If you've been paying attention to social media in the last month or so, first, let's start with Cyberpunk, one of the most anticipated games of the year. Then it releases, and shit hits the damn fan because people realize like it's so many glitches, we can't even play this shit, especially if we're using an old console or PS4 or something like that. It doesn't play as well as it does on the PS5. We feel like you ripped us off. They didn't tell us a lot of this shit it didn't do on the PS4, and it just keeps glitching. Then Cyberpunk just pulls the shit, right? Like from the gaming store or whatever, says we'll give you refunds. At one point they were like, please just give us a chance. We're gonna release some patches. They were like, fuck it, we'll give you some refunds. Now Cyberpunk is in this weird ass parallel state where some people are like, nah, I'm still gonna rock with the game. But saying that with the critics, with the community and everything else, we could say as of right now, it was definitely, you know, more of a flop than a hot, you know what I'm saying? So as of right now, that hype train for now anyway, definitely canceled. Then when it comes to Nintendo, do I have to even say shit for Nintendo? Everybody knows what the hell Nintendo is just rocking the shit out of the Melee community. Now also apparently the Ultimate community, they're doing a lot of shit where they're confusing people because they're like, what the hell kind of company are you guys? It's almost like we're loyal to you, we're buying your game, shit, we're making it better, but you're just constantly issuing cease and desist, banning our tournaments, pulling this fucking game, basically making it impossible for us to enjoy it online.
We're back here with some more awful news about what Nintendo has been doing to the Smash scene and how it's actually, in my honest opinion, killed any hope for the Smash scene to become a top level esport.
Now, overall, no, Nintendo was not canceled. They're not going anywhere. They're too big and almighty and powerful. They got too much damn money. They're gonna keep doing their damn thing. It's sad though, because on one hand, you can see how hurtful and damaging they are being to their own fucking community, but at the same time, they just seem to keep it pushing. And for number one, this one sticks out the most, at least to me, as far as like impact within the FGC. Mr. Joey Kular, aka Mr. Wizard, Mr. Evo himself. When it came out, he was participating in like pedophile activities since all the way back in the day, and people started basically giving their testimonies and outing this dude with screenshots and like DMs, you know, that he was sending them and shit like that. Long story short, Evo then parted ways with the dude, saying we will no longer be rocking, you know, paraphrasing of course, with Mr. Wizard. He's been removed from our staff, you know, he's gone. Mr. Wizard issued an apology, but people didn't believe it because they were like, basically, you're full of shit. And it was weird, right? It was huge because like, I remember when they did the announcement for Evo this year, Mike Ross was Mr. Wizard, right? He had Mike Ross right next to him, and a lot of people were hyped. They were like, oh shit, Mike's back, Mike's in the building. It was exciting as shit. Then what happened right after that? COVID hit, right? We didn't know what was gonna happen. Then fucking Mr. Wizard gets outed, he gets banned. Then a lot of people were like, fuck Evo, we're not going to Evo no more, we're protesting, right? So they remove Mr. Wizard, COVID goes in full effect, Evo gets canceled altogether. Holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like this was a roller coaster. It impacted us like deeply. Then the other one, which I just noticed, just happened just last month. You know, when voting was going on, like, you know, voting for the presidential election of the United States, this dude released a fucking tweet saying vote. Like, you know how a lot of people were coming out saying, hey, you should vote, y'all. We need to vote. Well, he did that too. How do you think that went? Yeah, it went to shit. I don't understand why you would do that. Like, who did you think? Did you think you were like spreading the positivity or the message? I mean, I'm going to continue showing the tweets, but damn, I was literally just looking at this today because I didn't even know he wrote that. People were like, dude, go to hell. We're not taking advice from you, or you're the last one that needs to be saying shit about some vote. Go to whatever fucking sewer you crawled out of to vote. Like, really? What the fuck? And usually, like, not all the times, most of the times I stay like right in the middle, you know, leave it up for the debate. But this right here just got me so off guard that I was like, no. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year tonight. For one, I hope you're safe. For two, I hope you're safe again, man. Like, we were supposed to have this huge New Year's party at my family's house. Damn near, I'm gonna say like several people just texted me yesterday talking about, or 2 days ago, talking about they're feeling sick, they're losing their taste buds, all the little effects for COVID. I'm like, holy shit. Just like that. I swear it's like COVID done threw a Hail Mary pass to my family in the fucking, it's fourth down, fourth quarter, it's fucking fourth and goal, and COVID said, throw that bitch. Oh, it's crazy, but because of that, I really don't think we're gonna be able to celebrate tonight. But you know what? It's better safe than sorry, so I'm gonna stay with my immediate family.
Whoa, I feel completely different. I do because this New
Happy New Year's.
So
Happy New Year! Happy New Year! So with all this being said, I want to wrap this up, give a special shout out to you guys. and everybody that helped make 2020, even though it was such a shitty year, a beautiful year for the Button Check family, man. Big up to GT Racing. They had our back for a majority of the year. They literally just came out and reached out to us and blessed us to help bless y'all with some dope ass gaming chairs. Hitbox that came out, the Shadows, and they were like, yo, we want to work with you guys again. And we got more giveaways to come, I believe like next week or something like that. So big up to Hitbox as well. The homie at Creative Flame for doing the shirt giveaways, man. Big up to all the Patreons, man, because you guys help us in relocating the Button Check family to grow this channel more than ever and give back to the community. Big up to the Patreons, and of course, big up to you, all the subscribers, all the viewers, because without you, we wouldn't even be anywhere. So thank you guys for all the tremendous love in 2020. I feel like I could just sit here and talk forever. I'm looking at the time on the camera, and I feel like I've been recording for like 30, 40 damn minutes. So anyway, I don't know how long or short this video is gonna be, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. We got so much more to come. 2021 has to be better, right? Has to be. Has to be. And with that being said, ladies to the gents, thank you for watching for the last time in 2021. We'll see you, 2020, you know what the hell I'm trying to say. For the last time in 2020, we'll see you on the other side, y'all. Happy New Year. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
Whatever y'all do, just be safe, man. Wear a mask, wear a condom. I always wear a condom. You know why? Because I always go hard. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That's the last dick joke of 2020. Good night.